we're going to talk about a couple of things. I mean, the posture's outstanding.
Okay.
If it doesn't get any better or worse than that, I'm really, really happy.
Right, cool.
We're probably extended a bit too much in your arms there. So
Yeah.
rather than just being dropped underneath. Now,
That's something I find quite uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unnatural.
well, it's very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Okay, but now the other part to that is because now the weight is on your heels a bit too much.
Okay.
That's why your arms are going to go out to counterbalance.
Yeah. I understand.
So if we go further in here,
Yeah.
then and keep everything in the same place.
Yeah.
But just I'm going to get you to rock backwards and forwards onto your heels to the balls arches of your feet,
Yeah.
and find out where that's comfortable. So the balance point is on the balls arches of your feet.
Right.
You know, as a footballer, if you're on your heels, you've got to make a movement to the balls, the arches of your feet before you can then move from there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
So that may not end up looking like that. It may end up just looking like that.
Okay.
By the time that bum comes in.
Yeah.
So
So with my bum coming in, will that mean that I stand upright?
no, it'll mean that your arms get closer.
Okay. Right.
Okay,
I
so if I'm
understand.
sitting back here and then I just do that,
Yeah,
my arms
yeah.
are going to be in the same place, but they just walk underneath us. Yeah?
yeah.
And that's something that you can do at home in front of the mirror. I know it doesn't sound like the greatest Friday night in the world, but
No, I
if
understand
I can get
definitely,
you to replicate that the next time you come down here, it won't feel so strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that would be my only thing about this side.
Yeah.
Okay. This side's pretty damn good. I mean, we've got a little bit of tilt there. You've got a little bit more pressure on your left foot than the right, which is great. This is all quite nice here. So I don't really want you to change that. That's really good.
Okay.
Okay, as far as that's concerned. So then we'll talk about the left screen first, and I'll just play silly buggers here for a second. All right, so as you start to move this away, we'd like to see that hub stay fairly central. Now, it's a little bit more difficult than that because, you know, clearly the leverage is underneath that left arm point because that's the attachment. So it's a little bit more difficult than this, but if we can keep that fairly stable,
Yeah.
okay, then you'll never need to swing it back that far
Right.
to generate the same amount of force.
Yeah.
Because essentially in 2/100ths of a second, you've got to get from here back down to here again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long way.
Oops, kept on going.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So now that's the first thing that people think is that, oh, okay, if I don't turn my body, it's not going to go that far. In your case, it's actually that arm there and that structure there. If I then extend that out, and then have the club 90 degrees. So in other words, that elbow doesn't have a bend in it.
Yeah.
It just stays a little bit straighter.
Okay.
Well, then we'll get into a reasonable position.
Right.
Okay.
I see.
So then, you know, it's not the be all and end all, but what it does do is you've got to have extraordinarily good timing to get another lever to straighten out an impact.
Yeah.
Okay, so that this motion here, then extending,
It's another-
then extending that.
Yeah. I see.
Okay, there's too many variables there.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when it does, it's extraordinarily powerful, but unfortunately, it doesn't do it all the time.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, the motion itself is very, very good. I don't have a huge problem with it at all. Well, there's a little bit of tidying up to do. You've done a great job so far.
Right.
It's probably more so clarification from your standpoint.
So you're saying like that left arm would be more so straight,
Straighter.
straighter.
It doesn't have to be
not
bolt.
so hugging my neck. Like
Yeah.
putting myself
It doesn't
in.
have to be bolt straight,
Yeah.
but it's certainly like to see it a little bit
Okay.
straighter.
Yeah.
So if I now, whoops, wrong one. Let's go over here for a second, and I'll bring up. And this is probably a bad one because Stewie wasn't playing well at this time, but at least it gives you some indication. Where was this? I can't remember which tournament this was in the States. So his body is rotated almost exactly identical to yours, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even a little less in his shoulders than yours.
Yeah.
But this structure here is maintained.
Yeah.
So we start talking about radius and things like that, which I really want to try and avoid because you're thinking about that too much.
Right.
And it's actually dictated by your right forearm, not your left, okay? This is
Okay,
where it's
yeah.
going to be a little bit strange. So see the angle that you've got there? And see
Yes.
the distance you've got the elbow has between your torso. Now have a look at the angle he has here. and it's kind of a strange.
It's quite tight to his body, isn't it?
And the distance he has there, yeah.
Yeah.
So he actually doesn't get his right elbow past 90 degrees, even though you can't tell that there.
Yeah.
And his elbow is only probably 3 to 4 inches away from his torso.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm interested in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand.
So maintain the same body action. We just got to get your arms to match your body,
Right.
as far as that's concerned. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I understand.
So, and then, clearly from there he does a pretty good job through impact, and, the handle's a little bit further forward than yours at impact. Oops, let's go there. So you can see how your handle's back a little bit from the forearm.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys, it's leverage. It's very, very straight all the way through.
So that's to get more power through?
Yeah, it's just transferring the energy a little bit more efficiently. Having said that, if I'm any good at what I do, if I get this working back here nicely and it doesn't travel so far, so in other words, it only needs to go to there essentially.
Yeah.
And you'll generate just as much speed from there as you will from the other one.
Okay.
Now, the 1 in 100 that you generate more speed from the other golf swing, the rest of them will be interesting.
Yeah.
So we want to raise that number up a bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. That's as far as I'll ever want it, because then you've got to understand that the rotational force of a length of a driver in there, which is much, much longer, will then drag your arms further closer to there.
Okay.
Okay, so we really don't want to get an iron ever past that.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
And that'll be a labour of love for you.
Yep.
Okay. You'll just keep on working at it. Now, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. No,
Okay.
that's-
Awesome.